Hey guys, what's up? It is prime time here for another PvP, another StarCraft 2 1v1 game. And this particular game is going to come from ladder, and I literally just played it, so I know exactly how it played out. And this is going to be a follow-up to the one-gate proxy build that I've been doing. I've posted a couple videos, I think, that were sort of like linked together through like the order that I wanted you to watch them. But regardless, even if you didn't watch it or you did or whatever, hopefully this should help you guys out one way or another. Anyway, in the top right is myself as the red Protoss. In the bottom left, it is James as the blue Protoss. It is a PvP on Cloud Kingdom. And my one-gate proxy build is going to be coming underway right about now. And so, yeah, this is... I want to talk about two general things this game. And before I get to that... Actually, the first thing is basically going to be, if you are doing this one-gate proxy, how do you defend against a two-gate from your opponent or from a cannon rush from your opponent? And I can either just sort of like... later on in this video, I'll go over how to do both of those. Maybe after the video, or I don't know, I'll figure it out. But if you want to see an actual video on me defending a two-gate or a cannon rush with this one-gate proxy, we're doing this build and defending that at the same time, just leave a comment, even just one of you. I know these videos only get like 20 views, but if one of you leaves a comment about wanting to see it, I will do it. It's not too hard to find games like that, because people do two-gate and whatnot quite often. Anyway, so essentially what's going on right here, and the second thing I want to talk about, which is what we're going to be getting into right now, is what happens if your opponent defends this one-gate proxy perfectly. Meaning, he knows it's there. If we go to his vision, he does see this. He saw this quite early on, and if you're wondering about why I proxy it so close in such an obvious position, it's because I really don't care if they see it or not. I just want it to be as close as possible. That way I can not only ensure that my first zealot will get out of the gateway into his base before his possibly can, unless he does some weird like 10-gate, 4-gate build, which means get your gateway on 10 supply or something like that. Some really early gateway timing, which would sort of result in two things. I would most likely have a better economy than him, because if you watch the other videos, you would see how I do chrono boost on probes after I build the gateway. And B, I would throw off his timing quite a bit. And anyway, so let's go ahead and let this video play on a little bit longer. And let's actually take up the units tab, because I want to show you the probe count. I haven't watched this video, I haven't watched this replay yet. Obviously I played in it, so I know kind of what happens, but we can see right here, as I will always do regardless of what my opponent does, is I am chronoing out the first zealot. And he knows this is coming, so he's going to try to get his cyber up before he starts his first zealot. That's a little ballsy, it's a little risky. But maybe he doesn't realize that I'm actually following through with this, so now that he sees the zealot, looks like he's finally going to get his started. I think he realizes he made a mistake. And if you're thinking, well, because the cyber is up so early, or because he skipped the zealot, shouldn't that mean he has an earlier cyber? Well, let's check out the timings here. 19 seconds into construction is his, and 20 is mine. And you might be thinking, like, well, what's the downside to doing this? He is mined 70 gas out of his assimilator. Mine is like almost halfway done, so that's sort of the trade-off if you're sort of wondering what it might be. Anyway, let's go back to the units tab, and I'll pull up I almost say Control R because that's the hotkey to do it, but I'll pull up the workers killed in a little bit. But most importantly, when you know that you can continuously build zealots out of the gateway, you just want to keep them alive as long as possible. Even if you're only denying mining like this, that's actually really not, that's pretty good. So he's going to go ahead and try to surround my zealot, and it looks like he will do so successfully. My zealot only able to get one kill, and then I messed up my micro right there. So a bit of a mistake, but still he has yet to start warp gate research, even though he can. He has the money for it, but and he's going to get a stalker instead of starting it right away. But my point is, whenever you're microing like this intensely, this in the early stages of the game, when it's not, when your build isn't designed to sort of like be making attacking units and going through these processes, or engagements this early on, then it will throw off your macro. And at least it takes you got to go pretty high up in Master Leagues to get really good micro macro, in these sorts of situations. Anyway, regardless, let's actually just pause it right now for some reason that I will determine later. We do note that I've made a total of 3 zealots out of this one gateway, and actually if we back this up just a second, we'll see that I did have a 3rd zealot coming, but I think I decided to cancel it because of a stalker. Yeah, so we see this 3rd zealot's queued up, and I actually wasted a complete... Oh, no, I didn't. Yeah, I did. Okay, so I wasted a complete chrono boost because I saw the stalker, and I just did it at the wrong timing. Making another zealot even when his stalker's out is actually not a bad idea, because what we're seeing right here, even though his stalker's taking pot shots on my units, zealots do more DPS and have more health, which means you can take down more probes than is cost effective for your opponent to be killing your zealots like that. Anyway, so he's finally going to come up here and kill the gateway. And let's go ahead and pause the game so we can see the aftermath. Keep in mind, he does have 1 chrono boost to his disposal. However, he has not started warp gate research yet. So let's go to the production tab. First off, warp gate research is 60 seconds in. So despite the fact that we had equal cyber timings, he got really distracted with... well, first of all, he had to pull off gas just in general. But on some maps, there's gas on both sides, so you might not always get that lucky. But my point is, he just had to get stalkers with the first few gas anyway, so those were his decisions, and it did delay his warp gate considerably. Now, I do want to note right now, I'm not going to go for a 4-gate follow-up, although looking at this game at hand, the fact that my warp gate research is 60 seconds ahead of his, basically means, I mean, we all know this, basically means I can kill him with a 4-gate if I wanted to. But anyway, so let's keep going, but let's look at the units tab once more. I am 6 probes in the lead. He's getting 2nd gas right now, and I'm not. 2 gateways coming up for me. Keep in mind, I will be losing these 2 buildings eventually. And I said this in one of the last 2 videos of this build, but make sure you rebuild your pylon. We can see I'm way oversupply right now, but that will obviously change in a little bit. That's why I built 1 extra pylon in my base. And, so yeah, he's getting a lot of gas right now, and he made another mistake by putting 1 more probe on this simulator. Oh, James, you're falling apart here. But first thing is first, even in this game, I didn't exactly realize how far ahead I was, how many probes I killed, and my worker lead and all that good stuff. But you should always expect some sort of counterattack. If they go for a 2-gate defense, I know I said this in the last video, they're probably going to stream zealots to your base because they'll overproduce zealots to defend your 1 gateway, and you're only 1 zealot that you should have made. And if they just defend it and react correctly, such as James did, he could try to hit you with a 4-gate of his own. He could try to just put on some early pressure with the first few units he made to defend it. So just be careful, is all I'm saying. Maybe delay whatever tech or expo path you want to get your build order to. So if you want to expand in the future, if you want to go for some sort of tech, as we see a Robos coming down, maybe just delay that by a little bit and make a couple extra units. Obviously, if you do have a lead, it might close up the gap a little bit between you and your opponent if your opponent does not decide to be aggressive. But here come 2 stalkers. And as I said, I did not realize what the lead that I had. So I overreact here, and I make a sentry, which is a pretty bad mistake. That's a zealot, but hold on. A sentry, there we go. So that was kind of bad because it will delay my tech. And this particular game, depending on the map, I will do different builds, obviously. In this particular game, I did decide to go for a 1 Colossus 4-gate all-in. It's a really strong build. It was really popular on the Korean server. It's one of the few builds that I do that I haven't made it myself, and it's just really good. There are a few things you need to watch out for if you don't do it on maps that it's particularly good on. Cloud Kingdom, it's alright for, but anyway, we'll see that progress as this game goes on. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at the units tab. He's still catching up on the workers count. Actually, he might have just stopped making workers, which I can't blame him for. He is going to be making some units of his own, though. And it looks like we're both going for Robo, but obviously since he had 6 less workers than me, that's going to be kind of hard for him to catch back up. So, I think you guys get the gist of how this game is going to play out, since my first zealot did kill quite a few probes, and basically the message, the moral of the story, if your opponent does react properly, is just outproduce him on zealots, and use Chrono Boost I wouldn't suggest delaying your cyber at all, but maybe delaying your first simulator a little bit. And so yeah, then just follow up with whatever you want to do. You can expand, you can 4-gate still, even if your opponent gets the cyber up when you do. Who knows, you might get lucky. But yeah, the ball is in your court. So I guess I'll verbally go over that 2-gate scenario, or the cannon rush scenario, that your opponent may do, or just, if their game plans to cannon rush or 2-gate you, they're going to do that before they realize what's going on. Now, I just want to address the 2-gate first, since essentially it's hard to lose if you're doing a 1-gate and your opponent's doing a 2-gate. And the reason for that is they're going to have nothing to defend their mineral line with, so all you really need to do is just make one zealot. If you really just want to make one, you can get away with that. Just send it to the worker line, try not to get it killed, and you're going to take down their economy. For some reason my screen's not scrolling, but alright, there it goes. So if you want to just make one, send it to their mineral line, shut down their economy, and then there's there's basically 2 responses you can make after that. The first response is keep making zealots at your gateway, which is actually probably the safer response, even though it's not going to seem like it would be. But if you keep making zealots out of your gateway, you won't be able to defend your mineral line. But that's actually okay, because you'll be able to outproduce zealots, and you're essentially going to be in... It's a really weird circumstance in StarCraft. It's not really a base race, because you're both going to lose your bases, but it's more of like a race to who can get the better army faster, or the more units faster. And since they can't mine minerals, it kind of becomes tough for them, even though they do have an extra gateway. What I tend to try to do, though, is if I'm getting 2-gated, is I'll build a forge and then try to get a cannon up as fast as possible, but it's very hard to actually defend that. It's very hard to, number one, A, get the cannon to finish, or B, keep a decent amount of probes alive, you know, in the process of keeping it alive, keeping the cannon alive till it finishes. So I would almost recommend just outproducing zealots, because your opponent's attack is going to hit later than yours, which means you'll get more money than he will be able to. And you'll be on a better economy anyway, or at least the same. So that's what I recommend for the 2-gate response. And when I say get a cannon, I mean like get a cannon in your mineral line, in case you guys didn't know that. But let's go ahead and see this attack unfold. Just some basic micro. Normally, if you do the 1 Colossus 4-gate all in, I think it's the proper way to do the build is to get a sentry. So we can see I do use force fields here. I actually kind of like not getting a sentry, though, when I do this build, like in a normal game where I don't do the 1-gate proxy. And the reason for that is because microing the Colossus, microing the Stalkers and Immortals that I have, making sure they're killing the right things and not getting killed by certain units like Immortals, like his Immortals on my Stalker, stuff like that. And also, if your Colossus dies, then it becomes very tough to actually win the game from there on. So the micro already is very intensive, which is why I don't really bother getting a sentry, because that just adds one more thing for you to micro. Anyway, enough of that. That was this game, and to defend a cannon rush with a 1-gate proxy, this is very awkward. I know, I'm sorry that, because I mean, I could have made 2 more videos, or, I mean, I kind of would have to made 2 more videos to show you these, so. If you want to see them, though, I'll be glad to post them up on the channel. But to defend a cannon rush when you're doing this 1-gate proxy build, I guess I'll go back so you can get a nice little visual on the buildings and probes that you'll have. If your opponent's cannon rushing, oh yeah, actually, you know what? I might as well show you something else while I'm at it. If this will load it a little bit faster. Alright, so building the pylon, you want to actually hug the edges when you're coming up to the pylon. I know you guys know that, so. Build the gateway. Now, a normal timing for you to get to his base with your probe. Actually, you know what? Let me just show you something. Let's say it takes 30 seconds for a probe to get from this base to this base, basically across the map, to the time it takes for this worker right here to get here. If you want to send this probe in to scout at a standard time so he doesn't know this is here, you know, obviously the standard time to scout is after the gateway, and if his scout is going to leave at like 1:45, it'll get there around like 2:20, obviously. So, so now you see I'm moving in immediately, even if he didn't scout this with his probe, I would have sent my probe in anyway. And there's sort of a couple reasons for that. A is because even if your opponent senses that you're going to be proxying gateways, and then he scouts you like right after, a lot of times they will just overreact anyway, and that's what I want them to do anyway. That's what I want them to do. And there's that, and then also if he is cannon rushing or 2-gating me, I want to know immediately so I can do what I need to defend that. So if he's going to cannon rush me, you'll see it with this probe, which is why I sent it in early to scout. And first thing that you should definitely try to do is, obviously you want to get your one zealot to basically destroy his economy. Next thing is to just scatter around your base with at least one probe, and just send it around your base, and see if you can find any pylons. Typically they're going to be in the low ground, and then they'll put like one cannon here and then one cannon on the high ground as well. But if they have a proxy gateway in their base and they know of it, they might try to build like a pylon on the high ground. And if they do that, you can just go kill it with probes and shut that down. Just keep in mind, if you do kill their first attempt, they'll probably try to set it up somewhere else as well. But yeah, I mean, it's like 3 minutes and 20 seconds into the game, and I've already disrupted his economy. And if he was going to 2-gate or cannon rush me, he'd probably have more around like 12 probes at this point. So he really can't fight this if you micro it decently. Anyway, obviously, if you can't stop the cannons with your probes, just get a forge of your own. Or if worst comes to worst, just take a draw. Kill his stuff with your zealot. If you can kill the Nexus, most likely he won't have enough money to rebuild it. Even if he could, the cannons probably wouldn't be able to protect it. So if you are panicking, build a few more zealots out of your gateway, kill his Nexus, force a draw, and who knows, you might be able to kill the cannons with your probes and zealots when it comes time to the final battle. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was way longer than it needed to be. Let's take a look at that APM, just because I'm interested. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I might do another video tonight. Protoss for Zerg, but we'll see, and it'll be on the channel anyway. So, also I have another video that I was going to do somebody else's game that I haven't seen. I sort of want to do these types of games, and if you guys have a replay that is from a professional game that you think is cool, or one of your own, send it in to me, and I'll look at it and see if I want to cast it. So, alright guys, good luck on ladder. See ya.